This is the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast. Here's Rick Ucchino and SP3 on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Oh, no. It is not Rick Ucchino this week. It is SP3 in the one seat along with the True Heel Heat gang. We are going to have a special AEW Dynamite True Heel Heat takeover. We gotta move this picture out the way and let the people see us on a whole different channel, a whole different day, 7 a.m. Thursday. Welcome to the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast. I am SP3, and back in the saddle, back joining us on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast is my right-hand man from the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon.
It's my second time here, so I'm pretty much a regular now.
Pretty much twice. That makes you a regular. And we got with us the true draw himself, Josh Moreira. Thank you for joining us as well, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me. First time on, so looking forward to it.
Yes, you can enjoy us on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel usually, but we're here filling in for Rick. He's flying aboard. He's already, comfortable in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for the week. WrestleMania week is upon us, but real quick as we start things off on the show, Romeo, tell them what you do over at the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. I know you're a regular at this point, but let them know what you do over there.
SP3 calls me the ace and the face of True Heel Heat because, wow, what don't I do over there? Editing, hosting, watch-alongs, reviews, thumbnails. Oh, my God. It's so much. And we have a lot of fun over there. Join us over there, True Heel Heat.
And Josh, let them know you're one of the newer faces, the newer regulars on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, but you're an OG. You've been with us since the ground floor, but tell them what you do over there.
Well, mostly the watch-alongs. I do the Rated Raw Superstars. I actually became full-time this week for that. So, and then also Dynamite, usually most of the weeks when there's a good card, which is almost every week. So,
yeah.
Usually go on there on the watch-alongs for that.
And we had a hell of a card last night on AEW Dynamite. CM Punk getting another victory and officially staking his claim for the AEW World Championship. The major debut, a big addition to AEW's women's division in the Owen Hart Cup qualifier that Romeo is very excited about. We got Jay Lethal and Wheeler Yuta impressing in matches against Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. We're going to get into all of that. But first up, as per usual, it's not Rick this time. It is me. We are finally here because the top teams in college basketball have been determined, guys. It's been determined, Romeo and Josh, and the Final Four is set. So if you're looking to wager on these games or the national championship, head on over to betonline.ag.com on your desktop or your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code Bleav, that is BLEAV, to get started. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all updated odds and info, along with player props and new contests throughout the year. It's the best source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and everyone's favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started. So join us today. Learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on sports. So remember the promo code, that is Bleav, BLEAV, BetOnline, where the game starts. Boom. Hit that ad read right there. So let's get into the lead story on this edition of the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast, and it's got to do with it was made the new addition to AEW's women's division after a whole bunch of speculation. People saying it might be Athena, aka Ember Moon. People saying it might be Mia Yim. It was none other than Toni Storm. Toni Storm made her AEW debut last night on AEW Dynamite, defeating the Bunny to qualify for the Owen Hart Memorial Cup tournament coming up in May. So what did you guys think? Were you excited? Was this a surprise worthy of the hype? And what do you think about Toni Storm in AEW? Josh?
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. I was surprised myself. I actually thought it was going to be Athena. But Toni Storm was a nice surprise just because it's more so with what she wants to do right now. You know, the way she left WWE, being burned out. I wasn't really sure if she was going to sign with another company right away. So on that aspect, I'm a little surprised that she signed with another major company this soon. But yeah, I thought it was definitely worth it. It was a nice surprise.
Yeah, she went from throwing pies in your girl Charlotte Flair's face over in WWE. She is one of the rare, this is the kind of the first time I think in AEW's history that a female who just left WWE, because we've seen in the past Adam Cole choose to leave WWE and go to AEW. We've seen Bryan Danielson leave WWE to come to AEW. We saw Jon Moxley in the early days of AEW choose to leave WWE in a big money contract to go to AEW, and now finally the first female who made the choice to leave WWE and come to All Elite Wrestling in Toni Storm. What was your reaction to her debut, and what do you think about her choice to come to All Elite Wrestling, Romeo?
I marked out. I'm very happy to see Toni Storm in AEW. It's amazing what a couple of pies in the face will do to you. Charlotte Flair, the opportunity, as we call her, gave her the opportunity to pack her bags and go to AEW. She is, in my opinion, the number one free agent female wrestler out there. I know a lot of people wanted to see Athena. It sounds like AEW is not all that enthralled with the idea of Athena right now just yet. Toni Storm seemed to be their top priority, and that's okay because Toni Storm is a star. And when she came out with that pop, she sounded like a star. She looked like a star. She's a star on OnlyFans, I've heard. And Toni Storm in this tournament, let her win it. I don't know who else is going to be in this, but that's my pick right now. That was my pick to debut tonight, and she delivered. Toni Storm winning the Mae Young Classic and then also winning the Owen Hart Cup. I mean, that's a nice resume. I'm down for it.
I mean, you already answered one of our 5 count questions, but I appreciate the enthusiasm for your girl showing that love there. But I mean, who would you like to see Toni Storm face in AEW, Romeo? Who would be like at the top of your list for dream matches with her?
You go to the top of the food chain. And even though she's not champion right now, she was the top. She is Britt Baker. Toni Storm injected in my veins. If we can't get that, hey, Toni Storm be a nice little name to throw out there to dethrone Jade Cargill if you want to keep building that up.
Yes, and Jade Cargill already has kind of passed aside the Liberian Leva Bates. She's now going to be challenged by Marina Shafir for the TBS Championship. That was also on AEW Dynamite. A lot of things going on in the women's division, but who would you like to see Toni Storm face in All Elite Wrestling, Josh?
Yeah, I would have said Britt Baker, but me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing her face like Rio or Sheeta. That would be pretty nice. Those I think would be really nice to see.
I'm going to throw out there the Professor, Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb, I've literally never seen her have a bad match in AEW, even if it's one of those squash matches that only takes a minute. It's usually always entertaining, and her and Toni Storm would be very interesting because I believe Toni Storm kind of debuted around the same time that Serena Deeb was brought in for the Mae Young Classic and then became a trainer at the Performance Center. So they might have been able to work with each other there, but never on the main stage like in AEW. And of course, if I have an opportunity to shout out Thunder Rosa, I will. And Thunder Rosa, by the way, was redeemed last night on AEW because I roasted that whole segment from last week, because on every show I could possibly do it. And then Tony Khan gave her the opportunity to speak, and she knocked that promo out the park, staking claim that she's going to become the foundation of the AEW women's division. She's not a face, she's not a puller. She's going to be the face of the entire women's wrestling, and she's going to be a foundation in AEW. Love that promo. And her and Toni Storm is like number one dream match for me. Toni Storm's 26 years old. She's just so polished in the ring, so good in the ring. She was very hard hitting, and she's very unique with her strikes compared to everyone else in AEW. But the only person that I feel can bring that physical intensity like Toni Storm is Thunder Rosa. So that's my number one dream match for Toni Storm, for Thunder Rosa, and for the AEW women's division right now. I think that's their top matchup that they can go to.
Toni Storm's a star. We're going to see it in AEW.
And we won't stop talking about Toni Storm, but before we get into more Toni Storm talk, we gotta also bring up the opening of the show, which was Max Caster going one-on-one with CM Punk. Max Caster with another hilarious promo telling CM Punk he's gonna crap his pants like he's on Z-Packs. Great line right there. Deep cut for anyone who listened to CM Punk on the Colt Cabana podcast. But then CM Punk gets the victory with the Anaconda Vice. After the match, he officially stakes his claim to the AEW World Championship. He says it doesn't matter if it's Adam Cole. It doesn't matter if he's staring down the barrel of cowboy shit with Hangman Adam Page. He says before he leaves AEW, he will become the AEW World Champion. So, Romeo, I will ask you first. Does CM Punk become the AEW World Champion, and where do you see it happening if he does?
Damn. That's a tough question. You know, we were doing the watch along, and I pulled a chat. Who would you root for in a feud between CM Punk and Hangman Page? Being that, you know, Hangman Page is a babyface and the top of the company right now. And it was overwhelmingly like 60%, 63% CM Punk. I don't know if I would fall in line with it. I would root for Hangman Page in that spot, but I could see CM Punk winning because it all roads lead to like All Out again in the end of the summer in Chicago, where CM Punk is. And I know MJF is still going to be around, and that's going to be the money match there. CM Punk MJF again. So CM Punk, yes, I could absolutely see him beating Hangman Page. Do I want to see it though, personally? I don't know. I don't think I do. I'm enjoying Hangman Page, but I could see it. I could see CM Punk winning. You said when?
Yes. When do you see him winning?
Probably Double or Nothing. Yeah.
There you go. So what about you, Josh? Do you see CM Punk winning the title? And if you do, where?
Yeah. I would say the same thing. Probably Double or Nothing. But I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Page have a long reign. I think he has momentum right now to stay champion for a while. So I guess it just depends on how they built that up, that story for Punk to get the title. I guess it just depends on that. But if they're pushing it now, I do see it happen at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, it seems like all roads are leading to Double or Nothing. This is already AEW's largest live gate that they've ever done, $1 million gate for Double or Nothing at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. They sold 13,000 seats. They need a big-time main event, in my opinion, and I think that the biggest main event they can offer is Hangman Adam Page versus CM Punk for the AEW World Championship. And this is not out the ordinary extraordinary for CM Punk, who is really AEW's biggest babyface, to verse another babyface. We've seen it at Full Gear and the lead up to Full Gear with him and Eddie Kingston, where Punk kind of looked down on Kingston, saying that, he had all the potential in the world, but he wasn't able to kind of like live up to everything. And now he's just a bum who's bitter at CM Punk for achieving so much. I can see Punk going back into that bag again and looking at Hangman Adam Page, being impressed with what he's done as AEW World Champion, but not being impressed on how he rose to the top with a beer in his hand, because CM Punk is better than him because he did it without that.
How do you think the crowd would be split in that setting, Double or Nothing in Vegas? You think it'd be 50-50, or you think it'd be a little bit different than that?
I think it will be dual chance. I mean, we saw a little bit of that on last night's Dynamite with Jay Lethal versus John Moxley, with the crowd being split, and Wheeler Yuta and Bryan Danielson. I think that this is gonna be the biggest babyface versus babyface matchup that AEW has ever done, and I can really see the crowd being split each way. Do you think that they will favor one over the other in Las Vegas? You were there live, in another building at the MGM Grand back at Double or Nothing 2019, Josh. Who do you see the crowd kind of leaning towards at Double or Nothing if that's the matchup?
That's a tough one. I think that's gonna be tough. I don't see the fans going against Punk for some reason. I think they'll be on his side. Even though, Hangman has been super, super likable, but I really don't. It's hard to say. I really don't see that crowd going against CM Punk, especially if it's a moment to see a title change.
Yeah, the title changes always are going to get a big pop. People kind of always want to see that. And I think that Hangman has had a really good reign, and it's gone on for now. What are we on? Month number 5?
That's my expectations.
Yeah, month number. He's going to be like a 6-month, 7-month reign by the time we get to Double or Nothing. So he's had a really strong reign, especially in the ring. Every time he's had a title defense, he's delivered. And we seem like we're on our way to another title defense, either one-on-one between Cole and Page, or it seems like we're going to do some type of trios winner-take-all matchup.
Yeah, so when it comes to Page, I mean, his matches have been fantastic. As him being champion, the only downside to his reign is that he tends to, the person that he's facing always gets the upper hand every time they're doing like a promo segment or anything. He was getting beat up a lot for somebody who's a champion. I think that's the only downside of that for his reign.
Not anything to his fault personally.
No, it's not. Yeah, not. It's definitely not him. It's just the way things go. That's the only downside I would say, because for example, when Mox was the champion, he didn't get beat up as much as Page has did these ever since his reign. But that's the only downside for me.
I agree there. So we shall see how Page is going to do. He's going to have one more title defense like Punk teased with Adam Cole, whether it be in that trios or one-on-one. So we'll see if that happens at Battle of the Belts or on an episode of Dynamite. But the road to Double or Nothing is very, very interesting. But we also are on the road. We got to get on the road to the 5 count. No music this week. We're just going to get into it because I know Romeo's excited to talk more about Toni Storm because he already answered this question. So I'm going to go to Josh first because the 1 count on this 5 count is, do you believe, BLEAV, not how I spelled it, but Tony, do you believe Toni Storm will win the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament, Josh?
I believe so, just because usually with new talents, usually that tends to happen. Like if they get introduced, in in those casino battle royals, or usually that does tend to happen. I think with the reaction tonight, I think she's the obvious favorite.
Yeah, most definitely. After that, she got a huge pop, a huge reaction for the win. She was very emotional from the reaction from that crowd on Dynamite last night. Romeo, who do you see versing Toni Storm in the finals of the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament?
Damn. It's hard to say because Toni Storm's the only one in it right now. Show me a bracket. I know. I think I saw a report somewhere that Tony Khan did want to, reach out and get people not just from AEW, from people from elsewhere as well. I can't remember where I read that, but maybe maybe you do get Athena eventually, and she's on the other side. And you get that at the end. That'd be cool. You got your 2 debuts, your two new girls signed, and they go all the way to the finals. I mean, that'd be a nice way to jumpstart their start in AEW.
I would love to see that. I mean, I already called out Serena Deeb. She's been on a hell of a roll. I feel like this tournament is going to be the setting for the next Serena Deeb versus Shida match. If it doesn't happen before the tournament starts, I think in this tournament is another opportunity to run that match back. That's always a banger when they're given time and given focus. And their match in the TBS title tournament was one of the best or highest rated matches for women's matches in 2021 on cagematch.com. So I can see them running that back, and then Serena Deeb making it to the finals and versing Toni Storm to give her the opportunity. But me, myself, I'm in agreement with both of you. I think that it seems kind of destined for Toni Storm to have that big push right out the gate and win the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. But where do you see her going if she does win the tournament? Do you think this parlays into something bigger? Because we've seen in the past someone like Ruby Soho coming to AEW, the big reaction at All Out, win the Casino Battle Royale, get a good push and a good build up in a couple of weeks to the Grand Slam event in the main event against Dr. Britt Baker. She even gets into the TBS title tournament, makes it to the finals and loses to Jade Cargill, but we really haven't seen her since January when she lost in the finals of the TBS title tournament. So do you think Toni Storm will do better and use this as a parlay to bigger championship goal, whether it be the TBS title or the AEW Women's Championship in 2022? Got to specify that. In this year, do you see Toni Storm winning one of those titles in AEW? Romeo?
Hell yeah. Brother, Toni Storm can absolutely. She can overtake Britt Baker. She could overtake Jade Cargill. She could easily be the face of a company, of a division, easily. Just because WWE messed that up, they don't know what they're doing, doesn't mean that another company can't take advantage of Toni Storm and all her marketing potential. She has the looks. She can wrestle. Can she talk? I mean, maybe she could be passable. She's still she doesn't really get those opportunities to talk in quite a long time, but we will see. I absolutely think she could take over and just be the face of the AEW Women's Division. Absolutely. This year.
Josh?
Oh yeah, I agree. And I've always seen it with Toni Storm ever since when she showed up on NXT UK. I always saw that potential, even way before that, following her career. So, the way WWE used her, I mean, I don't think that's any indication of how any other company should use her, just because they dropped the ball on that. But yeah, she definitely could be somebody who's a face of a company, and I think this is the perfect opportunity. As for who she could take out, she easily, same thing. Like, I feel like if there's momentum with her, she could definitely take out Jade Cargill. I think that's probably the first one you could go with, because I think if you put her too soon for the world title, I don't think she wins that. But I think like a stepping stone would be the TBS title.
And she's only 26 years old.
Yeah.
That's a baby.
She's young.
When you look at the other top stars in AEW, you got Britt and Thunder Rosa and Jade Cargill. They're all in their 30s. They're in their prime, but Toni Storm is someone that you can kind of build up for years to come, for the next decade. Honestly, if she decides she wants to do that and continue wrestling, she could be that person that they build the AEW Women's Division behind. So I'm gonna go out on a limb because I really said, when Thunder Rosa won the championship, the only person that seems in the running, in the limelight to kind of dethrone her is Jade Cargill, because she has this undefeated streak. She's a TBS champion. You can see her kind of doing the Bill Goldberg, like Goldberg was US champion when he finally got the shot at the world title, and he held up both titles as the undefeated world champion. I thought that was the destiny for Jade Cargill, but honestly, Toni Storm comes in and she's jumping the line. I think that Toni Storm now could be groomed, especially if she wins the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. She could be groomed to be that person to dethrone Thunder Rosa, and you can hold off and continue grooming Jade Cargill for her big moment. So, speaking of people, coming in with big debuts with pomp and circumstance, Jay Lethal was one of those people back
I
at
see
Full
what you did
Gear.
there.
Back at Full Gear, I was there for the official signing with AEW, but it's been kind of not the best follow-up. He lost in his TNT championship matchup against Sammy Guevara. He lost against Ricky Starks for the FTW championship. Last week, he had another great matchup with Adam Cole, and that was in another loss. We saw on Rampage, he cut a promo saying that something has to change after those last two losses, and then he had another great match this week on Dynamite with Jon Moxley. The crowd was split between both men. Jay Lethal is officially over, because last week he had a split crowd against Adam Cole, who's ridiculously over, and this week he had a split crowd with former AEW World Champion Jon Moxley. Had a great matchup, came up short. Moxley hitting the paradigm shift to get the victory, but based on back-to-back weeks from Jay Lethal, has Jay Lethal earned a prominent role in All Elite Wrestling after these last couple of weeks, Josh?
Absolutely, especially with his performances. I don't think the losses hurt him, and I think that's a part of it too. Obviously, they're building something with him, but because of his promo from the last time. So yeah, I think he does. I think he's earned a prominent role, and I hope it continues. He might. I don't know. It might lead to another stable. I'm not too sure, but who knows?
He might have to pull out the Macho Man gimmick. I don't know. You never know with him. But Romeo, what about you? You were a lot harder to impress, but did Jay Lethal impress you against Jon Moxley last night?
Okay, so I'm gonna tackle this from two angles. All right. The first angle is that yes, he is impressive. Obviously, we know Jay Lethal has all the talent in the world, but the other side of this is he's losing. So no, like imagine if the roles were reversed here and Jon Moxley just lost that match. That Jon Moxley was in Lethal's shoes and Lethal was in Moxley's shoes. I don't like Lethal accepting the handshake eventually. He should have turned the handshake down. He should be pissed that he's losing all the time. He should be a heel right now. Jon Moxley would not have shaken that hand right now if that was him. If that was him in that position, Jon Moxley's turning away and getting out of the ring because he's mad at himself for losing and losing and losing. And that's what Jay Lethal's character should be right now. To me.
I get that, but I think that's what they're building up to.
I hope so.
With him losing,
Yeah.
So I think this is why this is a prominent role for him. At least he's being shown on TV, because he wasn't for a while. He's been like on Dark, he's been on Elevation, but I think this is the way that you build him up, because he's been losing and you find a way to use him. And I think this is the perfect way to do it right now.
Yeah, he's been in the dark hole, as that's a variation of what Jimmy Macaroon says over on AE Ramble. But he's been in the dark hole for a couple of months now, and now he's finally out. It was that promo on Rampage that really was like, it raised my eyebrow, like, oh, they're actually going to be doing something with Jay Lethal, and the fact that he's on Dynamite this week has a strong showing against Jon Moxley. We know for sure Tony Khan listens to the fans, and you know that he heard that reaction for Jay Lethal, and I think that yes, he is going to have a prominent role. And I like the story being told because, you know, he extended his hand to Moxley at the start and Moxley hit it away, and then at the end he did think about it. He didn't automatically just be like, I'm a good guy, and shake Moxley's hand. He thought about it. He was mad at himself, but he said, you know what, I still have honor. And I think that to play into things, I think that this Friday, ROH Supercard of Honor, which is also owned by Tony Khan, we're going to see Jay Lethal. He's going to be on that show versus a man that he kind of tried to bring under his wing as a protege, Lee Moriarty. I think Lee Moriarty beats Jay Lethal, and maybe there he turns down the handshake. I don't think you're going to see the full heel turn there, but I think that he's going to show honor at the start and shake Lee's hand, but Lee's going to beat him, and maybe Lethal shows more of an edge and says, no, I'm not going to shake your hand. I'm losing too much in AEW, and then I come back to the place where I was a top guy. I was the longest reigning Ring of Honor television champion, 700 days combined as ROH world champion, and I'm losing to basically a rookie in my eyes. No, I can't shake your hand. I can't accept this loss.
Yes. If that happens at ROH, which is a much more fitting place, I will give you all the credit in the world. But yeah, there's only so many spots in AEW. Like, you know, you want to take care of Jay Lethal, you also got to take care of Keith Lee. And hey, Swerve Strickland, you just signed, you better take care of him too.
This is true. There's a lot of new names, and there's young names that are on the rise. Like I said, Lee Moriarty, he was mentioned by Bryan Danielson before they came out with the Blackpool Combat Club with himself, William Regal, and Jon Moxley. And Bryan Danielson was also in action on AEW Dynamite last night against Wheeler Yuta, who had a strong showing in tag team action against Moxley and Danielson, who was slapped by William Regal and didn't back down. He got in Regal's face. Once again, he stepped up and impressed on AEW Dynamite last night. Had in my eyes, it's arguable because there was a lot of great matches between Moxley and Lethal. The main event with Darby Allin and Andrade El Idolo was awesome. And then this match here, though, was probably my favorite with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta stepping up, showing fire, not backing down from Danielson. When Danielson was about to kick his head in, he spin in his face, made Danielson just completely savage him at the end here, but Wheeler Yuta got the crowd behind him. Those fans were cheering Yuta, and he also got a kind of a minor. He didn't get the full badge of honor. He's like a Boy Scout. He got like his first merit. He got his first merit medal. So he got his first merit medal from the Blackpool Combat Club. But my question here for Wheeler Yuta, to follow up from his strong performance on AEW Dynamite, guys, does Wheeler Yuta win the ROH Pure Championship on Friday at ROH Supercard of Honor from Josh Woods and earn himself into the Blackpool Combat Club? Romeo, you've been I don't want to say
Carefully how you word this.
I don't want to say anti Wheeler Yuta, but you haven't been as impressed as everybody else. Do you think he wins on Friday and earns himself into the Blackpool Combat Club?
Oh, to elaborate on that, I haven't been as high on him as everyone else because everyone else overrates him. That's why. I mean, people put him on this pedestal. He has to earn his way to that pedestal for me, is all I'm saying. And tonight, I'll give him credit. He brought it. Granted, he's in the ring against one of the GOATs. So anybody, a broomstick could have had a good match against Bryan Danielson tonight. But I'll give Willie Yuta credit tonight. He brought it. The spit was a bit much for me. All that spit. Wipe it off your face, Brian, please. Does he win the ROH Pure title? I'm going to say no, because as much as I've seen of Wheeler Yuta, one thing I know for sure is that he loves to lose. So I can't bet on a horse that loses all the time. I'm going to have to go with Woods in that match. And does he? Yeah, he's not going to earn himself into the Blackpool Combat Club. I'm going to firmly bet against that.
Jesus, he won't stop it. Not even on this channel. Josh, do you think Wheeler Yuta wins on Friday?
I don't think he wins on Friday, but I think he gets like another notch under his belt for that, like the way that you described it. I don't know. I think that would be a little too soon. I guess to Adam. I think I like this little slow burn build up to that. Like if he joins them, so I think that would continue, and I think that would be that would be the best way to do it for him to have a great outing for this match, because the people who don't know about the pure title, there's a lot of rules to the match, to the title match itself. So yeah, if he has a good outing, I think same thing. Like I think it will slowly build up to that.
So what do you think is going to kind of be the pushing point for Wheeler Yuta to eventually make the Blackpool Combat Club? Because they're putting a lot of focus on this story, and I agree it's probably better if they do kind of a slow burn over the next couple of weeks. But what do you see kind of in the future for Wheeler Yuta to finally make that next step up?
I think he would have to do something with the best friends for him to pretty much get out of that situation. I think that would be something. I think that would be something that would be interesting, just to prove that he wants to join them. I think that's the only thing that I can really think of right now.
And Romeo's just shaking his head because he doesn't see
Hopefully
him
nothing.
making.
Hopefully nothing, because I don't want to see him in the Blackpool Combat Club. He's not on their levels. I don't want to see him. Daniel Garcia and Lee Moriarty have a much better case. They're better at this point in their careers, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I agree with that. I do like Moriarty, and I was pushing for him to join. Like I do prefer him more because Daniel Garcia. I mean, he's with Jericho now, so that's not happening.
He's a sports entertainer now, guys. He doesn't want to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah, he was even wearing the Samuel L. Jackson hat in the segment. So, but yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
Yes,
there's got to be some other guys out there for the Blackpool Combat Club to look at, man. You don't have to settle for there's plenty of guys. Why don't you go get a Swerve Strickland or something like that? Aim higher.
Swerve Strickland is just too good. He needs to stand on his own. You're just being ridiculous now. No. You're hating. You're hating so bad, sir. Green is not a good color on you. You're jealous of Wheeler Yuta.
Let's just see something better from Wheeler Yuta than a match with Bryan Danielson. Let's see him. You know what? Let's watch that ROH match very closely with Josh Woods. I'm gonna watch that with keen eyes on Friday night.
It's gonna be good.
Everything else on that.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good match, especially with how, like I said, like how those rules are implemented. Those pure rules are implemented. I think he's gonna do very well.
I'll tell you what. Maybe Josh Woods will catch the eye of the Blackpool Combat Club, huh? He's the champion. How about that? How about you get the champion?
You're trying to throw anyone in this group besides Wheeler Yuta.
Nice. Give Josh Woods some credit. Let's see how it looks. Let's see that match.
I appreciate the same energy, but
yeah,
Woods
is really good.
Yeah.
Let's see.
He is really good.
Woods is really good, but Wheeler Yuta has been showing that top quality. And speaking of top
quality, you gotta admit though, that'd be funny. Josh Woods is the one that catches their eye. It's like, all right, forget you, Wheeler Yuta. Let's take this guy.
This would only be funny to you, but
come on, man.
But like I said, Wheeler Yuta is showing that top quality over the last couple of weeks. And speaking of top quality, tons of people take multivitamins, Josh and Romeo, but it's important to choose one that is top quality. With one delicious scoop of athletic greens, you're absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right. Their special blend of ingredients supports gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, energy, recovery, focus, and aging. It's also lifestyle friendly and fits a wide range of diets. There's only 1 gram of sugar and no chemicals or artificial anything. It's great. So reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. To make it so easy for you, Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 free year of supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Bleav. That is BLEAV. athleticgreens.com/Bleav. That's Bleav, BLEAV. That's athleticgreens.com/Bleav. And just a disclaimer here, these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Athletic Greens, take ownership of your health. So let's get into our 4th count right here.
I'll tell you what, though, if Wheeler Yuta gets on that, he might be unstoppable.
Hey, we gotta suggest that. Just tag him on the Twitter machine and say, get your Athletic Greens. We gotta get into the 4th count here, which has to do with Maxwell Jacob Freeman. He's a person that's been in the news all week, getting into heated discussions with Tony Khan, which we will get into to end off our 5 count. But we got to talk about what happened last night on AEW Dynamite. He was on commentary. Well, first, he did a backstage promo talking about the Pinnacle is still in rare form. Next week, Sean Spears is going to defeat Sean Dean, he says. And this week, he was out there to be in the corner of FTR as they defeated the Gun Club, the Ass Boys. A nice Ass Boys chant by the crowd at AEW Dynamite last night. Gotta give them credit for that. But a lot of things were teased throughout this thing. In the middle of the matchup, Wardlow, who they plastered freaking wanted signs all over the building saying Wardlow wasn't allowed in the building by Smart Mark Sterling. And Wardlow did show up. He beat down all the security in the corridor and then into the crowd, but 20 or so security ushered him away. The crowd was very much into Wardlow when he came out, but also the crowd was very much into FTR. They got a loud pop when they came out. They came out in Scott Hall inspired gear, which was magnifique, great touch right there. But after the match, they were upset because what they said in the promo exchange with MJF before the match is that they are friends with Maxwell, but they're also friends with Wardlow, and they don't want to get in the middle of this whole thing. MJF said that, well, when you guys weren't around, Wardlow's been talking trash about you, trying to get in their head. But after the match, after the whole situation with Wardlow, FTR were pissed at MJF, and the crowd responded with a huge pop to them showing aggression towards MJF, but MJF was able to kind of calm them down. He raised their hand and got massive boos for that. But it seems like this FTR slow burn babyface turn is still going on. So my question for you guys, what will get the bigger pop, when Wardlow finally gets his hands on MJF, or is it when FTR delivers the big rig to MJF? Josh?
I'm still go with Wardlow. The moment that Wardlow gets his hands on MJF, just because that's been a bigger build up, a bigger deal. I mean, both of them are gonna get big pops, but I'm still gonna lean with Wardlow.
Romeo, what about you?
I'm going to go with FTR just because it's such a cool move and it comes out of nowhere. And, it'll get a bigger pop than Wardlow getting his hand. By the way, you know, it's great to see FTR finally get the roses from the fans. They are the greatest tag team in the world. I know a lot of people want to say the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks, they're the greatest tornado tag team in the world. The FTR is the greatest tag team in the world, so I'm really happy to see them getting cheered. You know, the fans finally coming to their senses, something I've known for quite a while. FTR is amazing. Let's acknowledge it finally.
Stop reading from that Jimmy Macaram script, because Jimmy Macaram says the same thing, that
Oh, we
the
agree. We
the
agree.
the Young Bucks are the greatest tornado tag team. There's no such thing. You're either a tag
Nah,
team or
nah,
not.
yeah, they're still number one. They're still number one.
Uh,
Non tag tornado, no, and tornado, like whatever it is, they're still number one.
By the way, FTR calling out, they're going to win the ROH tag titles and they're coming for the AEW tag titles. Very nice tonight.
But first, they want a rematch with the Young Bucks to prove who's the best tag team in the world. To answer the question, I agree with Josh. I think it's going to be Wardlow, because they've been building up to this. Wardlow still hasn't got his hands on him. That's what I said about the babyface turn at Revolution. It was great because it kind of went against our expectations. We all thought the big Wardlow babyface turn is when he finally snaps on MJF and gives him the power bomb, or gives Sean Spears the power bomb. But instead, he did it with facial expressions, which he has been superb when it comes to facial expressions, and just finding the ring, putting the ring in the ring was enough for him to turn babyface. His great promo the following week, I mean, it was a stop in the road with the whole matchup with Scorpio Sky and him getting screwed by MJF. But I really feel the last couple of weeks are building more fan support for Wardlow, and I think the moment that he gets his hands on MJF and delivers the power bomb, and they say one more time, is going to be a bigger pop than when FTR finally turns babyface and they give MJF the big rig to eject themselves from the pinnacle. But we also got to talk about MJF, because he has been in the news a lot this week. Josh and Romeo, he got into a heated discussion with Tony Khan in regards to his interview with Ariel Helwani, and both men were left frustrated. Tony Khan, because MJF got the interview without the backing or the knowledge of the AEW PR team, which is a big no-no when it comes to these major promotions. But on MJF's front, it is more to do with his contract that expires in 2024. He is very frustrated with his position and his contract that he signed back in 2019. He signed a 5-year deal, and there has been guys like CM Punk, who's making 6 figures and came into AEW last year. There's guys like Bryan Danielson, who's getting a big check. There's guys like Adam Cole, who's getting a big check. You got Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks that re-upped recently. You got Chris Jericho, who re-upped recently. And when you look at the AEW landscape, MJF belongs in the same conversation as a lot of those guys. So my question to you guys is, should MJF be in the top 5 highest paid performers in All Elite Wrestling right now? Not in 2024 when he's able to work out a new deal. Should he be in the top 5 right now? Romeo?
Absolutely. He is the best heel in the company. And one day, if he wants to be, he could be a top babyface. MJF is worth every single penny that's coming his way. Tony Khan better be shaking in his boots about 2024. He better re-sign him right now, because WWE is going to be all over that, and I'm sure MJF is not going to mind. I'm sure part of him wants to be in WWE. It doesn't matter wherever the money's at. MJF deserves it, because just on being a top heel alone, nobody is on his level right now. Nobody. He brings it, man. And I used to be the biggest MJF hater. He was on my top 3 hate list, and he's won me. He's that good. He's that good, folks. He deserves every penny. Top 5 right now in AEW? Absolutely.
Seems like Romeo is convinced. What about you, Josh?
I'm gonna have to say no.
Come on, man.
I'm gonna have to say no, just because on a business aspect, I get it. But like you name all those superstars. I mean, like, you alone, you name what you said: Omega, you said the Young Bucks, you said Cole. You telling me he's number 5 compared to that? I don't know. I can't really agree with that. just just so more because of that. But then also, this is his current deal. This is what he signed up for. So just like any free agent in any sport, this is how you build up your stock, and then once you hit that free agency, or once you get to those contract negotiations, this is how you bank on that. And then he's probably
I'm sorry to interrupt you, bro, but this reminds me of like NFL, MLB, NBA, when guys haven't reached the end of their contract yet, they want the extension beforehand, and most of the time they deserve it. Like, let's just talk about Aaron Judge for the Yankees right now. He's looking for his big contract extension right now. But the quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson.
But the biggest difference with Aaron Judge is that Aaron Judge is in his final year of his deal. MJF still has 2 years left, so
it's going to get even worse next year.
But
that's what you got to do. That's how you got to deal with it.
Also, MJF has made it clear he's not going to re-sign before his contract expires because he wants to play WWE against AEW to get the best deal possible.
About his contract? Well, what did he say in that interview exactly?
No. What he said in the interview is that he's not going to re-sign with them before his contract expires because he wants to hear both sides of the offer. But he's frustrated. He's just frustrated with the fact that he feels that he deserves to be in that upper echelon of highest paid performers because he has been delivering. He's a ratings draw. He's the top heel in the company. He delivers in the ring. He delivers on the mic. He has all these things going for him. He feels like he should be in that highest paid position. He doesn't want a new deal. It sounds like his frustration comes from he feels like he should have a restructured deal that he wants still to expire in 2024, but he wants more money.
Which is why when I heard the interview myself, I was like, yeah, there was a lot that they were not going to be happy about. And that was one of the things, just because, like when it comes to the business side of things, you kind of don't want to bring it out there. So that's why I found it weird myself. And then also because he has 2 years left of his deal. And I was like, why? I was like, why is he talking about this now?
Did it sound in character or did it sound personal?
Well, to be fair, everything MJF does sounds like it's in character. So,
it sounded like it was in character, but at the same time, you should know certain things, like what to do, what not to do. And his first mistake was doing this interview without them even knowing. So he already screwed up on that part.
Yes.
And I believe this was the same interview where he praised like WWE, like, oh yeah, I love what they're doing. I love this guy. I love that guy.
He said, I even love NXT 2.0.
Yeah, what the hell?
Which it was all bullshit. But at the same time, it's like, when it comes to that, I mean, yeah, like I knew there were gonna be things that they were not happy about. And speaking about his contract, I knew that was probably the main thing, just because, like I said, he has 2 years left of his deal. And it's like, this is kind of, guys don't do this when their deals are coming up. They really don't do this. It's always usually like the dirt sheets or like, social media that people bring that up. Because remember when there was a situation with Adam Cole's contract, his contract is expiring soon. And then there was that report like, oh, no, he has 2 years left of his deal. And then all of that kind of got like pushed under the rug until they found out like, oh, no, wait, his deal's actually up sooner. So when it comes to that, I mean, there's no control when it comes to that when other people are talking about it. But when you're bringing it up yourself, it becomes a problem, especially with your boss.
I'll tell you what, though, MJF would have fit right in there in 1996 with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall talking about contracts, getting more money.
More money. Yes. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, me, myself, I would say no. I would agree with Josh. I would say no,
What?
he doesn't. He should not be in the top 5 paid performers because you have a CM Punk who has delivered on
Okay.
on him coming in. You got
Mhm.
Bryan Danielson, who's one of the best in-ring workers in the world. You got Adam Cole, who just came in, and he's yes. You got Adam Cole, who just came
I
in,
got you
and
on the
he's a
first
big
two.
name. You also got John Moxley, who's been
Three.
there and been one of your top guys. You got Kenny Omega, who's an EVP and should also be getting paid that big money. And Chris Jericho, he's in that Mount Rushmore for AEW. If it wasn't for Jericho being the guy, the top star when this company started,
Who was the
I don't
first
know
name
where
you
it'd
said?
be. CM Punk.
Okay. Did you just name all baby faces? No, Adam
No,
Cole.
Jericho's not a baby.
Okay. All right. I don't put Adam Cole above MJF. What?
Yeah,
I
well,
would.
he has more name recognition than MJF. That's the only reason. I wouldn't say that, and I wouldn't say that Adam Cole's been better than MJF in the last year. I think MJF has been the better performer, but Adam Cole is the bigger name.
And also, I will put Adam Cole above just because of his situation, the way that he left WWE. Vince McMahon wanted to re-sign him, so it wasn't like it was a situation. Oh, we're gonna let you go. WWE wanted to keep him, and he just didn't like what he was hearing. He just didn't like some of the stuff that they wanted him suggesting. So
being a manager, shaving his head.
Yeah. So
you mean that kind of stuff?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying like that's part of the reason too. Like this was the guy that his old job wanted him back. It wasn't like they let him go. They wanted him back. All these guys they wanted back. They wanted Danielson back. They wanted Moxley back.
But I think the Adam Cole is a little bit different because Danielson, they kind of thought he was done. They thought Danielson was just going to be done. Like Adam Cole, they were actively trying to re-sign him, doing the meetings backstage at SmackDown, and he chose to leave them to go to AEW. That's a bigger deal. Vince. Yeah.
And that was with Vince too. So
let me tell you something. If you're doing an AEW draft, are you picking all those names ahead of MJF? All of them?
No. That's what I said. Is if we're just basing it on the quality of their performance, MJF deserves to be in the top 5, but we're not. We're talking about name value, star power. We're talking about all those things
fine
combined.
Dropping Chris Jericho right now. Perfectly fine. You'll be all
right. We are
MJF
not
top 5.
We're not talking about a draft. We're talking about highest paid, and that has to do with name value and star power. So
pretty much that's what I'm basing it off of. Because if we're basing it off quality of work, of course MJF is better than Chris Jericho. There's no question about that.
If I have to upset some of those names in the top 5 we just mentioned, like Cole or Jericho, if I have to upset Cole or Jericho and tell them, hey, MJF is going to get paid more than you, so be it. I don't care.
I don't know about
this is why you don't
Omega, Punk, and Bryan. I don't want to upset them. I want to upset those 3. What'd you say?
Sounds very Romeo McMahon right now.
Exactly.
No. Omega, Punk, and Bryan. I don't want to upset those guys. Those guys are like, wow, really good. The other 2, I don't care. MJF is better than them, and you know it. You see what I did there?
This is why you don't own a wrestling promotion, sir. But
I'm pretty sure a lot of people listening are going to agree with me. A lot of people.
Let us know in the comments down below if you're watching this on demand. If you're watching the live one, let us know in the live chat if you agree with Romeo. But there is a lot to enjoy on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast YouTube channel tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time. Myself and Rick will be breaking down the most stupendous 2-night event in WWE history, WrestleMania 38, and we will be joined by the GOAT host, the former host of Talking Smack, the former host in WWE, as well as the host of The Sessions, as well as going throwdown with Misha, and on Sirius XM she is Renee Paquette. We had a great time talking about WrestleMania 38, so you can see all the fun that we had. And yes, she did challenge me in a trivia challenge, and the Montreal screw job went the other way against the Canadian. This time the screw job was in the Canadians' favor. So see how it went down with me versus Renee. But also, not only that, we got a live edition of the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast, 11 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday, as we're going to talk about WrestleMania Night 1. And we're going to also have, of course, on Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern time, the review of WrestleMania Night 2. So this is the big WrestleMania week. So I got to thank Josh and Romeo for joining me on this channel. Josh, let the people know where they can find you, sir.
You go find me.
Oh, did we lose him? Did we lose him, Romeo?
It seems like you can find them. JM Punk 321
and watch-alongs on True Hill Heat.
There you go. You're back.
Oh,
say that one more time.
One more time.
From the beginning.
Yes. From you can find me at.
So you can find me at JM Punk 321 on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel on the watch alongs, Rated Raw Superstars and AEW Dynamite every week, and on the Daily Slam YouTube channel every Friday night doing SmackDown reviews with Romeo and Miss Chrissy Love.
And Romeo, where can they find you, sir?
True Hill Romeo on Twitter and Instagram. As Josh mentioned, over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, where I do a watch along or review for pretty much every show or every company what's going on. WrestleMania week. If you want to watch along with us, watch along on True Hill Heat. Don't watch alone. You don't have to do that. We do live reactions. We're having fun. We're talking with the chat the whole time. It's a fun time always. It's a crazy time. It does usually go off the rails, but whatever. Try us out. Just try us out. Watch us once. And if you don't like it once, then you'll probably never like it. So just try it once is what I'm saying.
And yes, Romeo's going to be very busy. Friday, we talked about it earlier. We are going to have an ROH Supercard of Honor watch along with special guest John Escudero of Dirt Sheet Radio. Later today, Thursday.
That's him in the top right corner, by the way.
Absolutely. Thursday, later today on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time. Live, it will be myself as Darby Allin teaming up with Stang, aka Jimmy Macaram, to review last night's AEW Dynamite. More in depth, we talk about each segment. We give our thumbs up, thumbs down. We give our match of the night, MVP, LVP. So if you want a further breakdown of AEW Dynamite, that's the place to be. And also on Friday, 1:05 p.m. Eastern time, I will be joined by Stephanie Hypes, filling in for her servant face and heels tag team partner, Miss Chrissy Love, and we will have special guests returning to True Hill Heat, Joe Horbert of Late Night Grin. So a lot of great content from over us at True Hill Heat. So much to enjoy on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast on True Hill Heat. I want to thank Josh and Romeo for joining me on this edition, and Rick can't come here fast enough because I can't do the ad reads as good as him. But this has been the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Who is your pick in the custody of SB3 match that's going on in Dallas this weekend between Rick Ucchino and Alex McCarthy?
I'm going with whoever's going to be Vicky Guerrero and come in. Yeah, there's probably going to be a poll of who's Vicky Guerrero between Steven Jensen, Jeremy, or any of the True Hill Heat contributors. Who's going to be Vicky Guerrero to push the ladder over and take custody of SP3 in Dallas? So enjoy all the great content from WrestleMania week. Join us tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern time, for our WrestleMania prediction show with Renee Paquette. For Josh, for Romeo, this has been the AEW Dynamite Review True Hill Heat Takeover on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast, powered by Bet Online.